What if I told you that somewhere in America right now, a pharmaceutical professional is earning more than many doctors without ever treating a patient directly? Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's true. And no, I'm not talking about company owners or billionaire CEOs. I'm talking about ordinary pharma professionals working in QA, QC, regulatory affairs, manufacturing, validation, and biotech. People who once struggled exactly like many of us. People who worried about audits, appraisals, interviews, and career growth. But behind those impressive salaries is a hidden world of pressure, inspections, sleepless nights, investigations, and responsibilities that social media almost never shows. And honestly, once you see the full picture, your view of the pharma industry at America may completely change. It's 2:17 a.m. inside a pharmaceutical laboratory in New Jersey. A young analyst sits alone in front of an HPLC system while snow falls quietly outside the window. The coffee beside him has already gone cold. The laboratory is silent except for the sound of instruments running in the background. Then suddenly, the system gives a warning sound. A failed result appears on the screen. And in that exact moment, his heartbeat increases. Because this was not just another sample. This batch was worth millions of dollars. One wrong decision here could trigger investigations, delays, and massive financial losses. Within minutes, phones start ringing. Production managers rush into the laboratory. Ka joins the discussion. Senior management starts calling. Everyone wants answers immediately. And standing in the middle of this chaos is a person who, just 6 years ago, was desperately searching online for Pharma Salary in USA. And standing in the middle of this chaos is a person who, just 6 years ago, was desperately searching online for Pharma Salary in USA. Today, that same person earns over $140,000 annually. But how did that happen? What changed? And more importantly, can anybody actually reach that level? Stay till the end of this video because one particular pharma field we'll discuss later is becoming so powerful that companies are literally fighting to hire experienced professionals. Now let me ask you something honestly. How many of you have searched this online at least once? Pharma jobs in America, or US pharma salaries? Be honest. Almost every pharma professional has done it after a stressful audit, a frustrating appraisal, or one of those terrible work days where you start questioning your entire career. Because somewhere deep inside, many professionals wonder, could life become better in the US pharmaceutical industry? And honestly, the attraction is understandable. The American pharma industry is massive. We are talking about billion-dollar biotech companies, futuristic sterile facilities, robotic manufacturing lines, and some of the most advanced pharmaceutical technologies in the world. Some facilities literally look like science fiction movies. Machines move automatically. Robots handle materials. Electronic batch records replace traditional paperwork. Artificial intelligence is slowly entering investigations and data review systems. Everything moves with speed, precision, and accountability. But here's something most people don't understand. Pharma companies are not paying high salaries simply because the work is difficult. They are paying because the risks are enormous. One contamination issue can destroy a company's reputation. One failed FDA inspection can create panic across the organization. One poor investigation can cost millions. And that is exactly why experienced pharma professionals become extremely valuable. Companies are willing to pay heavily for people who can prevent disasters before they happen. That's the hidden truth behind pharma salaries. The higher the responsibility, the higher the value. Now let's break the biggest myth about pharma salaries in America. Many people think getting a pharma job in the US automatically means a luxurious and stress-free life. But salary alone means nothing. Imagine somebody proudly says, I earn $100,000 annually. Sounds amazing, right? But then come taxes, rent, insurance, transportation, healthcare expenses, utility bills, and daily living costs. In some biotech cities, rent alone can shock people. Suddenly the reality becomes very different. And this is where many professionals make a huge mistake. They chase salary instead of chasing growth. Listen carefully to this point because it can completely change your career. Sometimes a job paying slightly less today can build skills that double your salary later. That is how smart pharma professionals think. Not short-term money, long-term value, and the people who understand this early usually grow the fastest. Now let me tell you about Priya. Fresh graduate, nervous, sitting for her first interview room in an American pharma company. Her resume has already been checked 5 times. Her hands are slightly shaking. Her heart is beating fast. Then the interviewer asks a simple question, "Tell us about yourself." And suddenly, her mind goes blank. Honestly, many pharma professionals watching this video have experienced exactly this moment. That awkward silence, that nervous feeling, that fear of losing a big opportunity. Maya finally gets selected as a QC analyst with a starting salary of around $65,000 annually. Initially, life feels exciting. First salary in dollars, family celebrations, dreams, hope, everything feels amazing. But after a few months, the real pharmaceutical industry reveals itself. Long chromatographic runs, ooze investigations, stability failures, repeated injections, endless documentation, audit preparation, pressure from timelines, and suddenly she realizes something important. This is not just another corporate job. Pharmaceutical mistakes can affect patient safety. Now let's talk about one of the most common pharma departments in America, quality control. The world of HPLC, GC, dissolution, UV spectroscopy, microbiology, stability studies, method validation, and investigations. And honestly, QC can be both exciting and mentally exhausting at the same time. One day you feel like a scientist solving mysteries. Another day you feel like chromatograms are destroying your peace of mind. QC professionals watching this video will understand exactly what I mean. Especially during difficult investigations and stability failures. Now salary-wise, QC professionals in the United States may roughly earn between $50,000 and $75,000 at entry level. Mid-level professionals often move into the $80,000 to $110,000 range. Experienced managers and technical experts in specialized environments can cross $150,000 annually. But here's the important truth. The highest paid QC professionals are usually not the people doing only routine testing every day. The real value comes from problem solving. People who can answer difficult questions become extremely valuable in pharma. Why did degradation suddenly increase? Why did stability fail after 6 months? Why did the chromatographic peak split unexpectedly? Why did environmental monitoring suddenly show abnormal trends? During major investigations, companies desperately need calm thinkers who can identify root causes without panicking. One pharmaceutical company once faced a major manufacturing crisis. A critical batch was repeatedly failing. Production blamed QC. QC blamed raw materials. QA blamed procedures. Meetings became tense. Pressure kept increasing. Senior management was getting angry. Then quietly, a young analyst noticed something tiny that everyone else had ignored, a small environmental variation affecting process consistency. That single observation solved the entire issue. Within a few years, that analyst became one of the fastest promoted employees in the company. Because pharma companies reward people who solve expensive problems. And trust me, the people who stay calm during crises usually become future leaders. That is one pattern you'll see repeatedly in the pharma industry. Now let's move to the department many people fear the most, quality assurance. Or as manufacturing teams jokingly say, the department that says no to everything. Come on, every pharma company has these jokes. But honestly, QA carries enormous pressure. This department handles deviations, CAPA, batch release, change controls, investigations, audit preparation, SOP systems, and compliance oversight. During FDA inspections, QA often becomes the center of pressure because every major compliance decision eventually connects back to quality systems. QA salaries in America can become extremely impressive. Entry-level QA professionals may start around $60,000 to $85,000 annually. Mid-level professionals often cross the $100,000 mark. Senior QA managers and quality directors in biotech and sterile facilities may earn well above $200,000 annually. But those salaries come with responsibility. Imagine approving a batch worth millions of dollars while knowing that one wrong decision could create massive regulatory consequences. That is the level of pressure many QA leaders carry daily. And honestly, not everybody can handle that pressure. Some professionals still remember every minute of their first FDA inspection years later. The tension in conference rooms. The silence before answering questions. The fear of saying something unsupported. The pressure of maintaining confidence while inspectors review documents line by line. Because one weak answer can trigger deeper scrutiny. And honestly, this emotional pressure is something social media rarely talks about. People show salaries, very few show stress, and that hidden stress becomes part of pharma life. Now let's discuss one of the most underrated but powerful careers in pharma, regulatory affairs. This department quietly controls whether products reach the market or not. Without regulatory approval, there is no launch, no revenue, and no business growth. Imagine this situation. A company is preparing approval for a major pharmaceutical product. Millions of dollars are involved. Investors are waiting. Manufacturing is ready. Marketing campaigns are prepared. Leadership is under pressure. Everything depends on one successful submission. That level of responsibility is enormous. One missing detail can delay approvals for months. One weak response can create huge financial losses. And this is why experienced regulatory affairs professionals command extremely high salaries in multinational companies. Entry-level regulatory affairs professionals in the US may start around $70,000 to $90,000 annually. Mid-level specialists often move into the $110,000 to $160,000 range. Senior regulatory affairs directors and global leaders may earn between $200,000 and $350,000 annually. And professionals who understand multiple global regulations become even more valuable, especially those familiar with US FDA, EMA, MHRA, and international compliance systems. Global pharma companies desperately need professionals who can navigate complex regulations confidently. Now let's move to manufacturing and operations, the heartbeat of the pharmaceutical industry. This is where products are actually produced. Tablets, capsules, injectables, vaccines, biologics, everything eventually reaches manufacturing. And trust me, the pressure here is unbelievable. Production delays can cost enormous amounts of money. In sterile manufacturing, one contamination issue can destroy entire production campaigns. Imagine the pressure of knowing that one small mistake in gowning or aseptic practices could create losses worth millions. Manufacturing salaries in the US vary depending on the complexity of operations. Entry-level manufacturing associates may earn between $50,000 and $80,000 annually. Production supervisors and engineers often move into the $90,000 to $140,000 range. Senior operations managers and plant leaders in biotech or sterile facilities may cross $250,000 annually. Especially in biologics and sterile manufacturing, salaries rise quickly because the technical risks are much higher and the expertise required is extremely specialized. Now let's talk about one of the fastest growing and most powerful career areas in pharma, validation and computer system validation. Honestly, many professionals ignore this field early in their careers without realizing how valuable it can become later. Pharmaceutical companies today depend heavily on automated systems, software platforms, electronic records, digital quality systems, and computerized manufacturing equipment. And every one of those systems must be validated properly to satisfy regulatory expectations. Entry-level validation professionals in the US may start around $65,000 to $90,000 annually. Mid-level specialists often earn between $110,000 and $160,000. Highly experienced validation consultants and CSV experts in biotech environments may cross $220,000 annually. And here's the interesting part. Professionals who understand both technology and regulations become extremely rare and extremely valuable. That combination is becoming one of the strongest career advantages in modern pharma. Now we enter one of the highest paying zones of the pharmaceutical industry, biotech. Gene therapy, cell therapy, monoclonal antibodies, personalized medicine. This industry is transforming healthcare completely. And because expertise is limited, companies are willing to pay heavily for skilled professionals. In biotech, entry-level salaries may already start between $80,000 and $110,000 annually depending on specialization. Mid-level scientists and technical experts often earn between $140,000 and $220,000. Senior biotech leaders and advanced therapy experts may earn well beyond $300,000 annually. But there's another side nobody talks about openly. The science is extremely advanced. Expectations are intense. Continuous learning becomes mandatory. Competition is fierce. People who stop learning quickly become outdated in this industry. Now let's discuss something social media rarely shows, the emotional side of moving abroad. People post airport photos, luxury apartments, and travel videos. But nobody posts about loneliness, visa uncertainty, cultural adjustment, or the pressure of constantly proving yourself in a foreign environment. Some professionals struggle silently for years before stabilizing their careers. Others adapt successfully and build incredible lives. Usually, the difference comes down to adaptability, resilience, confidence, and mindset. And honestly, that mental strength becomes just as important as technical knowledge. And now, the pharmaceutical industry is entering another major transformation. Artificial intelligence is slowly entering investigations, predictive quality systems, digital validation, data analytics, and smart manufacturing. The industry is changing rapidly. Future high-paying pharma careers may increasingly belong to professionals who understand both pharmaceutical regulations and advanced technology systems. That combination is becoming incredibly valuable. And the professionals who adapt early may benefit enormously in the coming years. Now let's talk honestly about the biggest mistakes that slow pharma careers. Staying in comfort zones for years. Ignoring regulations. Avoiding communication improvement. Fear of technology. Depending only on routine work. And most importantly, chasing salary without building expertise. Because in pharma, high salary is usually the result of high value, not the starting point. That is one lesson every young professional should remember carefully. Companies pay heavily for people who solve problems, manage risks, and protect compliance. Somewhere tonight, a pharmaceutical professional is sitting inside a laboratory preparing documents for tomorrow's audit. Maybe exhausted, maybe frustrated, maybe wondering whether all this effort is worth it. Maybe handling deviations late into the night while everybody else is sleeping. But what that person may not realize is this: every investigation builds expertise. Every difficult audit builds confidence. Every stressful situation builds resilience. Slowly, knowledge becomes skill. Skill becomes reputation. Reputation becomes leadership. And leadership creates financial success. Many successful pharma directors once started exactly the same way: small desks, long shifts, routine work, pressure, failures, uncertainty, and stress. But they kept learning, and over time, their knowledge became their greatest asset. That is the real story behind pharma salaries in America. Not shortcuts, not luck, not internet glamour, but years of learning, responsibility, pressure, compliance, and growth. The salaries can absolutely be impressive, but behind every high-paying pharma role is somebody carrying enormous responsibility. So now I want to ask you something honestly. Which pharma department interests you the most? QC, regulatory affairs, manufacturing, validation, biotech? Comment below and let's discuss it together. And also tell me honestly, would you move to the United States for a pharma career if you got the opportunity? If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to Pharma Health Insights. And remember this carefully: in the pharmaceutical industry, knowledge is not just power. Knowledge is survival, career growth, credibility, and sometimes the difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary future. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.